Very important games. You know, if you look back a few years, Korea knocked us out of the Asian Cup in the quarterfinals in 2021, I think. So, you know, it shows you how high quality a team they are. So it's going to be a very difficult contest, a very tough game. But I think also the important thing is with the Asian Cup coming up in March next year, all these games become very, very critical.
You've got a squad which is starting to get quite familiar. Existing chances every game an opportunity also for these players to earn their spot in the Asian Cup.
Yeah, and it's always a squad's always a mix. You know, you have your regulars you could probably name now for the Asian Cup next year, and then you have a group of players which in the Matildas at the moment is quite a significant number who are really fighting for a spot in the 23 for next year. And there's lots of competition going on in that area, and over the last few months, you know, we've brought several new players in and had a look at them, and we continue to expand the squad and continue to expand the competition within the squad.
Team looking like it's starting to gel under your leadership. Are you looking forward to having 2 more games with this unit?
Definitely, you know, we've had some mixed results, particularly of late, but you know, it's a process, and the key thing, particularly with the national team, is to make sure you get the process right when you go into the major tournaments. So at the moment, as I say, there's a little bit of mix where we've got a settled senior group of players, to be honest, and then within that group you've got another group of players really vying for trying to get a spot either in the squad or in the starting team.
A big name, a big inclusion, particularly for this region, is Claire Wheeler. What are you expecting her to bring as she returns to the squad?
Well, it's really great to have her back. Like, Claire was actually just sort of getting herself really established and pushing for a starting spot in the team about 6 months ago. Unfortunately, in their last 2 camps, she's picked up injuries just prior to the camp and actually missed out on those camps because of injury. So it's really good to actually get her back. You know, I just keep my fingers. It's always a tough crowd here in Newcastle.
I was going to say something, Josh. There's a lot of excitement for the Matildas coming here. How excited are you to bring football back to the region?
It's fantastic. Look, Newcastle is a huge centre for football. A lot of our football history started here in Newcastle. It's a typical football town. It's a blue collar town. It's a town that really has supported football in the past in a fantastic way. And it's a town that's produced a lot of players for Socceroos and Matildas. So it's really important for us to come and play in these cities, and in particularly Newcastle with the history that they've got.
What about compatriots? Is Emily Van Egmond kind of changing clubs, moving to England? How vital is she to your squad, and what are you expecting a big game from Emily to return to her home ground?
Like, she's one of those important senior players in and around the squad, you know. I think back my second time with the Matildas, she was this young up and coming 15-year-old. She's now this very senior, hardened and extremely good professional, and I think coming back to hometown is very special for her, and obviously she'll be a big part of the game up here.
And with Sam Kerr still injured, how important are her leadership qualities?
Well, all the senior players' leadership qualities are important, but again, that's something that Emily has really matured into very well. As I say, I remember her starting out as a 15-year-old, and now I see her as a really responsible senior player on the field and off the field. Okay. Well, you asked me dates now. Dates and players' names are not my strong point. The players, yes. The players will generally start coming in from early next week. So most of them play at the weekends, Saturdays or Sundays. By the time they get on flights and come over here, in general, we'll get most of the squad together by Tuesday. Hopefully on the field by Wednesday, another session Thursday, and then into the first game.
And I know you're used to this, but how do you fit in with all of these incredible athletes' schedules? They kind of come all over the place, and just making sure they're ready to be together and playing on Australian time?
Well, it's one of the challenges of a national team job now, is that the way that the women's game's gone, and it's fully professional now, which is a fantastic thing. The challenge for that from a national team perspective is that you don't get much time. So the time you've got to utilise very, very wisely and make the most of those little couple of days that you've got to keep things simple, but also get enough information out to make your team effective.
And just to clarify, on Sam Kerr, she's out because of her ongoing injury.
Correct. So Sam's still making a comeback from her knee operation a year and a bit ago. She's not been fully cleared yet by Chelsea. She's on the mend and she's not too far off. So her first, if you like, the priority is to get her on the field at Chelsea, and then hopefully she'll be available for selection for the Matildas.
And just last one from me, the ABC's chatting to some Matildas alumni today. There's a ceremony planned to recognise the first national team, which was a club team, not necessarily the official Matildas team. Some are upset about that. Is this taken away at all from the game to come? Have you got any comments on that?
No, I don't have any comments. That's something that's outside of my remit, thankfully. It's not something that really comes within the actual mechanics of our team and our squad.
In terms of Sam, obviously short term out, but with a long term picture for the Matildas and yourself will be the Asian Cup coming up.
Yeah, the Asian Cup is the next critical tournament, and I think, as I say, the difference between a national team and a club team is that for a club team you're literally week to week, day to day, in a sense. With the national team, you're planning generally for major tournaments, so you're playing for the present, but at the same time you're planning for the future and trying to balance all of that together so that you get your selection and your preparation right for major tournaments. And obviously the next one is the Asian Cup here in Australia, which is very important.
Locally, someone aiming for that, just here, Tash, flying the Jets colours. What have your thoughts been of her within the Matildas squad now a few times?
Well, first thing is that she's obviously a very much more accomplished player than her father was, despite the fact he played in the Premier League a little bit. No, look, Tash has done exactly what, as a coach, I want players in the A-League women to do. She stood out and she's come and got herself picked in the team. You know, players get themselves picked. And what Tash has done is that she's really had an outstanding season. She stood out at centre-back and she's come into the national team, got a debut against Brazil, which you don't get much tougher, has handled herself exceptionally well, and she's still in here, and she's someone that's made her way into the squad and now has got the ambition to make her way into the starting team.